The words you said to me then were, from 0 to 1, and from 1 to something even greater. Those words that meant even if you fail, even if all seems hopeless, you can move forward, and from that one step, I can take a journey to a place I've never been to before. A failure like me can shine as bright as I can. There's no secret that I love Love Live. I've made an entire series of videos analyzing it to death and practically never stopped talking about it. I've gone to Anime Expo twice in a row simply for the knowledge that I could see them perform live. I own what might seem like quite a few figurines and memorabilia, but in actuality is quite small by comparison to most fans. Love Live is something that means a lot to me, more than any anime possibly could, hell, any piece of media could. And seeing as how I've seen this film 11 times now, I can say this with full confidence. There is no story that I adore more than Love Live. And there's no piece of media period that I love more than Love Live's Sunshine, the school idol movie Over the Rainbow. This movie marks the end of the story of the 10 who challenged fate, the story of Uranohoshi and its students and the ones who engraved the name of that school into history, the story of Aqours. I've followed them since the moment they asked my heart was shining. From the moment they stood on the beach of Uchiura announcing their arrival, I was skeptical of them at first, thinking there was no way they could ever measure up to Muse, this group of girls I had only just come to love, but as Chika herself learned, I stopped comparing them in that sense. I watched them grow, watched their tale unfold, and saw Yo's confession of love, Kanan's desire to go on a journey, Chika's struggle to find her shine in the moment they grasped it, as the school they did it all for was gone forever. I fell in love with this group of girls who defied their circumstances, and here we are at the end of the road. The finale movie that would cap off the tale of Aqours had finally arrived, and again, I was skeptical. Sunshine had already ended with what I thought was the perfect way. It wasn't like School Idol Project that left with a cliffhanger. I didn't know how such a complete story could ever be continued. Well, having seen it, I'm going to tell you why you need to see this movie. Over the Rainbow, like the School Idol movie before it, serves to finish off some loose ends from the series, as well as bring the entire story of Sunshine to a close. It picks up right where the series ends and begins with Aqours trying to figure out what they'll do now that the third years are gone. On top of that, they need to figure out a way to integrate into their new school, while Mari's mother comes to them with a request to find where the third years went, which causes them to go to Italy. Saint Snow also makes an appearance and plays an important role in the story. I'm going to be avoiding spoilers for the film until I go over some things that I want to discuss. The School Idol movie had this sort of linear structure to it where each event triggered the other one in that fashion. Over the Rainbow is very different in that sense, as it has 4 plot points that it is covering. What will Aqours do now that the third years are gone? Why is Mari running away? How will Uranohoshi integrate into their new school? And will Leia be able to form a new group? While this seems like a lot of work that could possibly get convoluted and jumbled together pretty fast, because of how Over the Rainbow structures itself, it manages to weave them all together in a way that makes it work. Sunshine in particular always had a way of using different thematic elements in a way that made it so every part affected another, be it regret, shining, growing up, or self-acceptance. So the film accomplishes this by having all 4 of these elements be linked to what I believe to be the central theme of the story: closure. While they won Love Live and came to the conclusion that they won't regret losing Uranohoshi, there's still quite a few lingering regrets that are unaddressed by the end of the series that have been touched on but not fully resolved. Ruby and Leia's arc in Season 2 introduced the idea that they will be fine by themselves, but we don't actually see them going through with that in the series while their sisters are gone. The third years being gone is also something that hasn't been addressed in Love Live ever. School Idol Project didn't have the liberty of doing so due to how Muse ended the moment the 9 were split apart. We got that promise of how the rest would continue as a different group, but never actually saw it in motion. So to see how Aqours coped with that is really interesting just to begin with, but what makes this all work is how the film ties it all together. The new school not accepting Uranohoshi ties into that theme of showing the world what school idols can do, something that has been touched on in the School Idol movie before it. While school idols are more popular than ever before, it's safe to say that not everyone accepts them, something the film directly addresses in the form of the parents who reject Uranohoshi. This is further explored in the Italy section of the film, as Mari's mother did not accept Mari's freedom, which included her friends and Aqours. In her eyes, nothing that Mari did was worth it. School idols are worthless. After all, she could be seen as correct. School idols didn't save Uranohoshi. School idols did nothing for Mari's future. In fact, school idols caused Mari to leave a much better high school to go to one that's already closing down. What worth could this frivolous activity have? On top of that, the third year's leaving is something that, again, ties back into Ruby and Leia's arc of having to grow up and move on without their sisters, which not only makes Saint Snow's involvement entirely necessary, it gives us one of the greatest musical numbers in Love Live history. If we're going to be talking about the music from this film, I can only say that it obliterated my top 10 all-time favorite Love Live songs because of every single number in this film being a masterpiece. Love Live always had its roots in Broadway musical, but its execution in Over the Rainbow is the best that it's ever been. The very first number, Bokura no Hashite Kita Michi wa, is a classic musical performance. There's a very good video by Sideways that talks about how Disney manages to seamlessly flow from dialogue to a performance, as the philosophy behind musicals is that if the emotion is too strong for words, you sing, and if the emotion is too strong for that, you dance. And Bokura no Hashite Kita Michi wa is a perfect embodiment of that. It begins from the very end of Wonderful Stories and then continues in an all-out performance that shows the love and heart for the town of Uchiura and the city of Numazu, the land where the heart of Aqua lied. The energy slowly builds up until again, singing doesn't even do proper justice and they begin to dance, until the song reaches a crescendo, finally opening up to a literal curtain to this story. And that is just the very first song. Toso Meso Mobius Loop, Hop Stop Nonstop, Believe Again, Brightest Melody, Kiseki Hikaru, and next Sparkling House, some of the best animation and especially CG animation, and the whole series on top of being some of the best work musically that Aqua has ever done. To add on to that, the score is worked into such a seamless and effective way that just talking about it can't do justice. You need to see this movie to understand what I mean. You need to watch this movie because I can't talk about why I love it so much without spoiling it. And I've already dipped our toes dangerously close into spoiler territory, so I think it's time to get into spoilers because there is no way I can keep going without doing so. Please skip to this time code to avoid any spoilers. The end of Love Live Sunshine was to tell the story of the 10 and what they learned. Aqua, as we knew it, was the embodiment of the love and passion of everyone in Urano Hoshi, of the 9 who went on stage and the 10th who cheered them on from the crowd and supported them with all their might. It was the story of those who, even if they failed, would show the world what made being a school idol, what made Urano Hoshi so special. These feelings that they have in this moment would be carried in all of those who saw the light of Aqua and saw Urano Hoshi's name. But what if there were only 6? The very existence of this movie made me rethink what I believed Aqua was, because in truth it wasn't always 10, and that name didn't originally belong to them because Aqua is a name that was passed down. It was the name of 3 best friends who wanted to express their freedom and love for their town and failed because of their disunity and those feelings. Both good and bad were carried into Chika's new iteration. Aqua is not like Muse that only existed as 9 and was created by those 9. It's a name that carries with it the feelings of everyone who holds its name. But those feelings never go away. They're held in the hearts of everyone who carries the feather that held Aqua's blue light. That is the message that Over the Rainbow wants to get across. From the moment Chika and the rest of the remaining members of Aqua tried to express to their new school what exactly made them so special, they did so while thinking that they were missing something, that they had truly begun at 0, and they failed because of it. Likewise, Leia was still chasing after the shadow of Saint Snow. The new group that she tried to create was one where she tried to correct the failure in the last Love Live, where she crushed hers and Sarah's dreams. But for both to move on, they would need to understand that fact. The fact that they don't have to keep chasing that shadow. The Italy trip by many seems to be a pointless detour, but by proving that school idols are not worthless and that, as Marty says, everything she did is a part of her, it showed to Chika and the rest that it would not go away, even if they were gone. In that sense, Ruby begins to remember this fact and gives Leia and Sarah a chance to get rid of that regret. The 0 that haunted them was no longer there. What remained was a 1. This is best represented by Brightest Melody, the song that was the final chance for the 9 members of Aqua to sing together and express their feelings as one. But if you recall my feather video, the feather is dyed in the color of the bird that flew, dyed in the color of their love. Aqua, the group that won Love Live, had feathers that were a deep blue like the ocean around their town that they loved. That group was gone now. But the feelings that they had and all of their experiences still remained. Their love was still there. Reflected in this are the outfits of this performance. The third years wear dark blue outfits with jackets that are closed, but everyone else has a slightly lighter hue with jackets that are slightly open. Their story is not over and they still have more time to make more experiences. They won't ever forget the feelings that they had. Even if they say goodbye, what they had will always remain. You don't always start at 0. The town, the school, the beach, the sky, and even Aqua still remains. As the sun comes up to signal a new day, the 6 who remain rip off their coats, revealing outfits white with tinges of blue, the experiences that they carried with them. That is the meaning of the new Aqua. From 1 we'll start, moving forward towards our future. The final scene of this movie calls back to what happened when Muse changed the world. 3 girls visit the beach in the town where the 10 defied fate, inspired by the performance those girls showed them. That's what a school idol is, and that's what happens to those who see the light of those girls who love singing and dancing together with all their heart. Love Live isn't a game, but just because it's not a game doesn't mean it's not fun. They take it seriously because they love it, and that love is felt by those who are inspired by them. Aqua's tale might be over, but that name won't ever die because there is no 0. There's a 1. I had a chance to see this film in theaters for my 11th time viewing it. I drove an hour to a theater that was showing it, and I don't regret a single second of it. I watched as the scenes that made me laugh hysterically made others laugh alongside me. I watched as the scenes that made my heart ache made others gasp in sadness as well. And as I cried, I heard people around me cry with me. This film is an experience that everyone needs to feel because I know that it does something to people. To see the end of these 10 who I and so many others fell in love with is something I want people to see. And I can't stand for them to miss. To describe what this film is in one word is again with that central theme: closure. This is the end of Aqua's journey, the end of the story of the 10 who defied fate and turned 0 into 1. This is the end of the story of the normal monster who, despite being so soul-crushingly normal, shine brighter than anyone else. But that doesn't mean what they've done is gone. That doesn't mean everything they've shown us, everything they've accomplished, and all that they've changed was for nothing. The beginning isn't always at 0. Just because that they're at the bottom of a mountain doesn't mean they slid back to where they began. It simply means that they already conquered it and appeared on the other side, and all they can do is look for the next. And even if they're gone, what they've shown me and what they've taught me won't go away. It'll remain here always. I can't begin to do justice to this film, and all I can say over and over again is that you need to watch it, to watch this end to the story that affects me more than any other anime possibly can, what affects so many other people too. I love this movie, and I hope that by watching it you understand too. But if I'm to truly get across what about this story affects me so much, as we reach the end, I have to go back to the beginning. Not to the beginning of the 10, not to 9, but of one girl with a dream. Let me tell you why I love Love Life. Thank you everybody for watching another video by yours truly, WatTheWut. Yeah, this is going to be a real sappy month, boys. If you got some other videos coming out, please watch Love Live Sunshine Over the Rainbow in theaters now, or buy the thing, or just watch it, please. Please watch it and then watch Love Live, everybody. I'd like to now thank my patrons and people like FloydRodButt, Chandler Makes Video, Flarboo, thanks Nitrorad, and Rika Fag. If you want more information on videos that are coming out, you can always follow me on Twitter or check out my Discord. And if you don't want to give on Patreon, you can always donate to my coffee. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.